I'm Oli Davis, this is the WrestleTalk News. Picture this, you've worked hard all your life, reinvented a whole industry several times over, and then ruthlessly stole back that industry when it tried to force you out due to mounting allegations of sexual misconduct. It's only right that now, at 78 years old, you finally get to live your boyhood dream, racing around the world as Dick Dastardly with your best friend, The Undertaker. Vince McMahon and The Undertaker have been spotted on the Ultimate Lads holiday in Saudi Arabia, where they were in attendance for Tyson Fury beating Francis Ngannou by split decision. Lads. Vince can be seen using a cane to walk, either due to his recent back surgery or his continued mission to become a Batman villain. But it wasn't just business Vince and Taker were in town for. They were also in Saudi for pleasure. And by pleasure with Vince, I also mean business. As it's been reported, McMahon's relationship with the Saudi government helped the UFC gain a big money deal, just like WWE's. The UFC will now host a Fight Night event in the country in March 2024. WWE completed merging with the UFC in September as TKO Group Holdings. UFC CEO Dana White has described Vince as an incredible partner, the Michael Jordan of the business world, and an absolute savage. While Vince said of Dana, "I'm a better businessman." Lads. Fightful has reported that Vince has been almost totally removed from WWE Creative since the corporate merger was completed on September 12th, with Endeavor instead trusting Triple H to run that side of things. In an update, talent that Fightful has spoken to described the backstage atmosphere as much more straightforward since the TKO merger, more in line with the last half of 2022 as opposed to the first 9 months of 2023, which means Triple H can focus on what he does best, booking the latest Bloodline interference finish so Roman can keep his title. The Samoan SWAT team has been one of the most dominating factions in the Major League Wrestling promotion, consisting of former National Openweight Champion Jacob Fatu and former World Tag Team Champions Lance Anoa'i and Juicy Fanu. The Samoan SWAT team has a long lineage, first starting back in 1987 with Samu and Fatu, wrestling under various names for WCW, ECW and the WWF, and mostly comprising of members of the Anoa'i family. The same Samoan wrestling dynasty that includes Rock the Dwayne Johnson, Rikishi, Yokozuna, the Wild Samoans, Umaga, Rousey, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns. But somehow not Samoa Joe. He's like the only Samoan wrestler who's not related to any other Samoan wrestlers. There's an argument that the Bloodline is just the Samoan SWAT team under a different name, similar to how the Elite and the OC kind of exist within a larger Bullet Club affiliation, especially as Paul Heyman has managed both the Bloodline and the SWAT team. So it's very interesting when currently wrestling active members of the Anoa'i family become free agents up for grabs, especially when it ties into the larger stories of a wrestling promotion talent exodus and the legal battles so potentially significant. WWE said nice things about AEW. Lance Anoa'i has posted on X, "As of today, I have been granted my MLW release. I want to thank MLW. Want to give a big shout out to my Usos, Juicy Fanu and Jacob Fatu. Thank you for everything. Love you guys, Samoan SWAT team." His tag team partner member in the SWAT team, Juicy, posted the same. "As of today, I've been released from MLW. Just want to thank everyone I've crossed paths with while I was there. Extremely thankful to MLW for the opportunities. Especially want to thank my brothers, Jacob Fatu and Lance Anoa'i. I'm now a free agent. Toko out. OFAS." This follows Jacob Fatu, who is under contract with MLW until late 2025, telling Muscle Man Malcolm in September, "Being in WWE, man, my father, my uncle, look, my cousins are there, so absolutely, if I had the chance, I would go." To explain exactly who is related to who here, as it can get quite confusing, Lance Anoa'i is the son of Samu, who's way over here on the family Anoa'i tree. His grandfather Afa is the brother of Reigns' dad Sika, making him a first cousin once removed of Roman Reigns. Weirdly, Lance is already featured on WWE programming in a segment with Reigns, where Shane McMahon tapped him out in a squash match on the May 27th, 2019 episode of Raw during Shane's feud with Roman Reigns. You know, the one where he had Drew McIntyre as his henchman. You know, I'm actually really glad Triple H is running creative. Jacob Fatu, who is still signed with MLW, is also a first cousin once removed of Roman's and the direct cousin of the Usos, with Rikishi being his uncle, although he's been accused this year of no showing a fundraising wrestling event and not returning the money. He's challenging for the MLW World title on November 18th. And Juicy, but he's not related to anyone, he's from Tonga. It's interesting to note that this isn't just a case of Lance and Juicy's MLW contracts expiring. They claimed their requests for their releases were granted. In other words, they quit. They hadn't wrestled since dropping the tag titles back in July. It comes during an odd weekend for MLW, with Fightful reporting their former world champion Alex Hammerstone has also requested his release from the company after 5 years, as his relationship with them has become frayed. He also dropped the world title back in July, where his near 2-year reign was ended by Alex Kane. It's reported MLW feel Hammerstone's motivation decreased after he lost the belt, and they have no intention of granting him his release from his contract, which expires in 2025. It points to talent uncertainty behind the scenes at Major League Wrestling. But even then, WWE will have to tread very carefully if they intend on bringing in members of the Samoan SWAT team from MLW. MLW CEO Court Bauer has been a persistent thorn in WWE's side since the start of 2022, where he filed an antitrust lawsuit accusing them of interfering in TV and streaming deals and, pretty related here, poaching talent. The most recent update came in August, where MLW submitted a court document confirming Stephanie McMahon spoke with the streaming platform Tubi, which is owned by WWE's partner Fox, the day before Tubi was going to announce a streaming deal with MLW. That deal was terminated that night. MLW therefore claims WWE got their TV deal thrown out, which WWE denies. How would you book Samoan SWAT team members joining the Bloodline? Tell me by making a Bloodline OG versus Bloodline SWAT war in the comments down below. We're just in the top of the 4th inning, lads!
And this is it. Look at that, a big scream in the air. Lovely stuff. He's going to be throwing him over. Oh, he's got a chance to escape here. He's got a chance to escape. And he's done a foolish thing there. He's done a foolish thing. He's decided to stay in the ring. Oh, he's been kicked in the face. Well, you're going to kick him out the ring there. And then he'll win, because presumably this is like cage match rules. Oh dear. Another big kick to the face there. And he slapped him onto the ground like a pancake. Oh dear. Onto his back. It doesn't bother him though, he rolls him over, and now another lariat. Unbelievable stuff here. But yes, it must be, I can only presume cage rules here. First person out would make sense. They win the match. Oh, and he goes over. Oh, what a lovely victory for the bald man there. And why is he looking so happy? Egg on your face, my friend. You've just chucked out your opponent, winning him the match. Oh, and the crowd are they're over the moon for the man that we're not getting a camera shot of the winner. Strangely, you're getting a camera shot of this big loser in the middle there, and these fans who appear to be sort of cheering him, which doesn't make any sense to me. His pants are literally on fire, so therefore he must be a liar.
Soon, Brian Children could find himself commentating on the hottest new indie wrestler, Ronda Rousey. After Rousey and her fellow 4-horsewoman Marina Shafir wrestled an impromptu match at the Lucha Vavoom event on the 26th, beating Brian Kendrick and Taya Valkyrie, Pro Wrestling Revolver have officially announced that Rousey and Shafir will also be in action for them on November 16th, where all ticket profits will go to Lahaina Wildlife Relief. Dave Meltzer has revealed that Ronda is a free agent. She can do what she wants, and she's doing it for fun. It's in LA, where she lives, she doesn't like travel, and likes hanging out with Marina. Ronda actually enjoying wrestling appears not to have just struck us by surprise, but also her former place of work. Rousey was last seen wrestling in WWE at August SummerSlam, putting over Shayna Baszler in an awkward MMA rules match. Her contract reportedly expired shortly after, but it's only now, following her indie announcements, that she's been moved to the alumni section of the WWE website. This is just me speculating here, but Marina is signed to AEW. Taya, one of her opponents at the Lucha Vavoom show, is also signed to AEW. A lot of the talent on her next show, like Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland, are signed to AEW. Those are a lot of ways for Tony Khan and Ronda Rousey to reach out to each other. AEW could do with that extra drawing power too, as it's been announced that Bryan Danielson's injury at the end of last week's Dynamite was a legitimate orbital bone break, and he's expected to be out for the remainder of the year. This is the second time Danielson has been hurt by the Rainmaker Bone Breaker Okada. Okada, making them 2 for 2 in encounters causing injuries. Bryan had previously broken his arm in their match at Forbidden Door. PW Insider has confirmed the injury is not storyline, and it's touch and go whether he'll make New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom event on January 4th. It's not good news for live events either, as WrestleTix is reporting more ticket sales struggles for AEW, with the Wednesday 1st November Dynamite only having sold 2,556 of the 4,295 available. This is in the KFC Yum Center, which can seat up to 23,000 people. I know I'm as shocked as you are. There's a place called the KFC Yum Center. Rather than do a 1-minute one-take recap for the Saturday 28th episode of AEW Collision, I have this simple request. Go watch MJF versus Kenny Omega for the world title. It was very good. And tune into the WrestleTalk podcast's full review of it. In the meantime, watch mine and Luke's 3-count predictions for Crown Jewel.